This video might end up being 10 to 15 minutes, and that 15 minutes could completely change the way you age. Hi, my name is Nadia, founder of the beautydoctrine.com and Functional Beauty Principles. I left the beauty industry after nearly 30 years. I realized most of the advice given, whether it's about products, injections, fillers, you name it, is designed to sell products, not to help you age your best. If dermatologists told you real solutions to stay young and wrinkle-free beyond 50, they're gonna have to shut their businesses. You're not gonna be going in for those lasers and fillers. Their focus is always collagen, collagen, collagen. Let's boost collagen. Let's break down the skin and puncture it with microneedling and all this stuff to boost collagen. Well, how about every other structure in the body that holds up the skin? You can plump that skin all you want. You can inject it, you can inflate it, but how about your bone and your muscle and fat pads and fascia, all those things that hold it up? But also, how about estrogen? You can try to boost collagen all you want, but if you don't pay attention to that estrogen drop, and I'm noticing it, I'm 48 years old, and thankfully I've been able to keep those wrinkles at bay until now because I never followed dermatologist advice or even the advice of all the different brands that I worked for. I've done my own research in order to maintain my skin and heal all the different issues that I developed over the years following mainstream advice. Okay, moving on. So back to the collagen and estrogen conversation. You can boost that collagen all you want, but when you hit menopause, it drops about 30%. What is the point? So we need to be looking in the right direction. Yes, we want to maintain and boost that collagen, and I've taught you how to do that in many of my videos. Look up collagen banking. But the estrogen decline takes all of that progress away. So you have to preemptively prepare your body for that estrogen loss and start replenishing it. Like, I'm perimenopausal, late 40s, so I'm doing everything that I can to maintain as much estrogen in my body. But when I hit true menopause, I have a plan in place, and I'm going to share that with you. If I could summarize everything I've learned from all of my research and 30 years of experience, is this: if you don't understand your hormones, you are bound to age miserably. If you don't understand the role of hormones and how to optimize them, there isn't any cream or serum or even topical treatment that will deliver. Estrogen especially has been the missing piece in the anti-aging conversation. So let's begin by talking about estrogen's connection to the skin, the signs that nobody really talks about. For us women specifically, estrogen is not just a reproductive hormone, it is the master regulator of our health. We have estrogen receptors all of our bodies, including our hearts and brains. And so when we lose that estrogen, we can lose memory, we start getting that brain fog, and so on. But here we're gonna just focus on skin. Estrogen is the very thing that's going to signal our fibroblasts, which live in the dermis, so that's where collagen lives. So estrogen is the signal, literally, that tells our skin to create collagen. When estrogen departs, when it's gone out of our system, there are no more signals to create any more collagen. Now you're 100% guaranteed to just go on the decline. So before that menopause, you're able to regenerate collagen, and I talk about all those methods all the time. Take your vitamin C and do red light therapy and a bunch of different tools. There's so much you can do to reproduce that collagen, but past menopause, all of that goes out the door. Of course, you still need to take care of collagen and take those amino acids to continue maintaining your collagen, but that signaling, that very essential signaling from your estrogen needs to be continued. And that is the only way, literally, to stay wrinkle-free past menopause. Of course, this is given you maintain a healthy lifestyle. You're not baking in the sun and, eating all kinds of carbohydrates and so on. Another essential function of estrogen in the skin is to synthesize hyaluronic acid. We've heard so much about hyaluronic acid. A lot of us apply it topically. You can consume it internally. But again, estrogen is that signal that tells your skin to create new hyaluronic acid. And this is exactly why our skin looks dewy and plump, 30 and under, and then after that it becomes a struggle to maintain that glow in the skin. Third function of estrogen is to maintain that barrier function and that integrity of that layer of fat that protects our skin topically. Without it, the skin becomes more reactive and fragile. So a lot of my clients that are in their menopausal years mention that they've become sensitive, and that's the very reason why. The fourth function of estrogen is called vascularization, and that is maintaining that blood flow to the skin. So that what that means, optimized blood flow brings nutrients to the skin. It also facilitates the exit of waste from the skin. So less estrogen will mean dull and tired looking skin. So why do I say that dermatologists miss the point? Because truly their training is so limited on offering services. So you go into their offices, they're filled with tools, with products, all these things to just target collagen, and it's mostly designed for short-term gratification. You want plump skin? Let's give it to you today. They are not trained on hormones. They're not trained to focus on the long term, and that is why I focus so much on it, because I see this when I consult with my clients on a day-to-day basis. They have their faith 100% in the hands of dermatologists, and that is the wrong way to go about it. I'm not saying don't go to see your dermatologist. They are so useful. We absolutely need dermatologists' help for skin diseases and so on. But when it comes to longevity of the skin, we need to have a more holistic approach and deeper understanding of our biology. And if you still want fillers and all that type of stuff, there is no shame in that. Definitely get those. Just make sure you don't rely on them solely as your strategy for longevity of your skin. Okay, now what happens when estrogen declines? Number one, you see deeper wrinkles because the collagen scaffolding weakens. Number two, the jawline sags because elastin fibers lose their snap, skin thins and starts bruising easily, and that's because of that loss of dermal density. And you start feeling dryness and itchiness, and that's because that layer, that barrier layer, is now compromised and weakened. And lastly, you may experience delayed wound healing if you get cuts, pimples, and of course, any type of irritation will start lingering much longer. And this is not just limited to the skin, as I alluded to earlier. When estrogen declines, it triggers systemic aging throughout the entire body. This is probably TMI, but it's really important to the conversation. I had a hysterectomy in my late 20s due to fibroids, so I don't have a menstrual cycle. I haven't had one for a long time. And so I'm kind of going in the gray when it comes to trying to identify if I am perimenopausal, though in the last couple years, I've had a lot of symptoms that can signal that my hormones are out of whack. And so I got a hormone test last year, and I'm so glad I did because my hormones were tanked, but I still had a good amount of estrogen. And so what I started doing, under the supervision of a practitioner, is take DHEA. I still take it. I use Balance Cream. It's a progesterone cream. It's on my website. I massage that on the insides of my elbows and then my chest every single night because that helps soothe, calm, and helps with that hormone balance. I'm taking vitamin D3 with K2 every single day. I take maca, and maca is phenomenal. I dedicated a full video to just that one herb, and I really encourage you to find that. I was not ready to get into actual hormone replacement therapy. I know that's coming down the road, but I didn't want to get any prescriptions just yet. As far as testosterone, which was also low in my results, I have been trying to boost it naturally, and the way you can do that naturally is by optimizing sleep, which has been a huge issue for me my entire life, but I've been making a lot of progress there, and then doing rigorous exercise that's focused around resistance training and weight bearing. So that helps the body start making more testosterone. So that's been my plan to support my body through perimenopause. Of course, I do a lot of other things that help me with stress, because stress raises cortisol and contributes to hormone imbalance. So that's something that I've been very deliberate about, but I don't want to go too deep into that. I can dedicate another video to it. So there are a bunch of supplements that I take for that and different modalities that I employ every day. But staying on the hormone conversation, I will cover one more supplement that has a bunch of different herbs that helps perimenopausal women specifically. Essentially what we're trying to do is hang on to as many hormones as possible for as long as possible, especially that estrogen. And then I'm going to go into some foods that are now a staple in my diet almost every day. I spent so much time looking at different blends that can support my hormones without having to take a lot of supplements, and I landed on Ancient Nutrition one. You can find this on my website. It's called Women's Hormones, and if you're new here, my website is thebeautydoctrine.com. That's where I curate the cleanest products possible based on all my experience, whether it's clean skincare that's free of hormonal disruptors, carcinogens, and so on, or supplements that can support that beautiful skin from the inside out. So anyways, so this is phenomenal. So this has a blend, so all the ingredients that I was looking for to help support hormones are in this formulation. So you have reishi, you have fermented chasteberry, and I love anything that's fermented because it helps it be more bioavailable. So you get better absorption into your system. There's ashwagandha, which is it's a phenomenal adaptogen to help with that rest and deep relaxation and your body adapt to stress. And of course, when your hormones are declining, a lot of things, like simple things, are perceived by your body as stress. So even just having a sugary meal, so a piece of cake will have a completely different impact on your body in your perimenopause than it would if you were younger. And then there's fermented black cohosh root and fermented schisandra berry. Before I move to my plan for when I become fully menopausal, I've made the hard choice not to take sponsorships. While others can earn 6 figures for a single video, I've chosen to remain unbiased. I've left corporate America to be the consumer's guide with my loyalty to you and not the brand. To keep doing what I love, I absolutely need the support of this community. Become a VIP member on thebeautydoctrine.com or a paid member here on YouTube, and help keep me bringing you the truth about how to age your very best from the inside out and the outside in. Let's get back to our video. One thing that a lot of even hormone experts do not mention is the fact that you need fat to make hormones. You cannot make hormones without cholesterol and without fatty acids. And so omega-3 fatty acids are essential. I talk about omega-3s all the time. I've been referring to them for many years just in the skincare realm as your internal moisturizer. So a lot of people struggle to get that dry skin fixed topically with all these moisturizers that are packed with alcohols and so on. An easy internal moisturizer is a good high quality omega-3 fatty acid supplement, which you'll find my top choice on my website as well. Now let's talk about some foods that can help optimize those hormones and maintain that hormone balance. So things that I've incorporated now in the last few years: flax seeds, I absolutely love. They can't be whole, you have to grind them up. And flax seeds are very fragile. So if you buy ground flax seeds and have them on your shelf, they are already oxidized, they're really not good. So what I do, I buy the Whole Foods powdered flax seeds, and then I keep them in the freezer. Chia seeds are another phenomenal source of a hormone balancer that's also high in omega-3s. It's probably the highest source of plant omega-3s in the plant kingdom. Then you have avocados, and then we got some estrogenic foods like hummus. I always talk about it because it has 2 highly estrogenic foods, and those are sesame seeds as well as chickpeas. Fermented soy like tempeh or miso. I also keep a bag of edamame in my freezer, so if I want a snack, that's a very good source of protein that's also estrogenic. So we're helping the body maintain those estrogen levels as they're declining. And I don't think I can ever make a video about anti-aging without talking about proteins, high quality protein, high quality collagen, and creatine for women that are 40 plus, because that is the source of your amino acids, and those are the building blocks of new collagen and so on. So yes, you can have that estrogen which sends the signals to make collagen, but you gotta have that raw material. You can't have a low protein diet and expect to replenish your collagen. It just will not happen. And don't forget those antioxidants, because they're your protective mechanism. So think about, you have this production going of collagen, but then you need the shield, you need those guards that are going to protect your collagen, and those are antioxidants. So think of like berries, anything that's like dark and rich in color. So blackberries, raspberries, blueberries are the best. Apples, pomegranates, anything that's really high in antioxidants, it's going to be super helpful. I also take supplements with powerful antioxidants like alpha lipoic acid, NMN. I mean, at this point, everybody should be taking a high quality NMN or resveratrol. You don't have to do all of it, but I'm throwing a few at you. You can have a lot of information around all of them on my website, and I'll give you some links in the description below as well. Now, if you've reached a stage to where you're menopausal or postmenopausal, a lot of these things will help to a certain extent. I would still apply whatever seems appealing to you and everything that I mentioned, but make sure that you look into HRT. You want bioidentical hormone therapy. There was so much misinformation over the last couple of decades around harmful side effects of hormones, and that was so untrue. There was one flawed study that scared women of hormone therapy, and now finally there is some light that's being shed on the benefits of HRT, and that's my plan. I know 100% when I reach the point where I need estrogen, I'm going straight for it. There are some companies, I've been researching a bunch of different companies, which I will continue to do. There are just a few now that are emerging. I will link up a couple down below, but I highly recommend that you get your hormones tested like I did last year, and I keep saying I'm due for it this year. I'm just being lazy, but super important to maintain the regular checkup on your hormones so you can optimize and ensure that you're supporting your body as you move towards menopause. If you're interested in skincare recommendations for menopausal skin, I have what's called the Ageless Bundle or the Age Reversal Guide. Just say guide in the comments and I'm happy to send that to you. Until the next video, be well, be safe, be beautiful, take care.